Hello, this is 1.9.3. Sitting in the desktop I've got this one, Hulk. That is a Marvel comic, and it is from Thingiverse under this profile here. Click. And here he comes. Okay, so it's pretty much auto scaled already. It's a bit twisted up on the plate, and so I'll just roll the middle mouse button to zoom out and roll back up in a different spot to get it there. Now I want to position this, rotate, and that blue one, I think I'll spin him around. I just click the blue ring and then spin him around. Yeah, and then by right clicking I can rotate the whole thing, and click rotate again. I want to tilt him back a bit, so left click on the red, tilt him back. Yeah, not bad, not bad. What I'm aiming for here is the area of the base is about 1/3, sorry, the area or width at either direction is about 1/3 of the height. So 1 to 3. If it gets more than that, it gets a bit messy. Well, actually it becomes a bit unstable. So let's rotate again. This time I want to turn the Z a little bit. Z from the top. Not bad. Something like that. You can see now it's pretty central in the plate, and I want to rotate again. I'm going to go up in the Y. Now why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I'd rather not print a flat arm. This arm is very flat, and faces don't print very well when they're flat. When you slightly face them upwards, maybe 30 degrees up, they print a lot better. So I want to actually lift this one about 30, wrong way, about 30. Yeah, something like that. This one is coming down a bit low. Let's make a happy medium. Let's go back a little. Come on, do the quick way. Something like that. Okay, now I can scale, because I've got the mega plate. I can do as big as I like. Let's go big. Scale to fit. We'll make it fit into the volume of the machine, and quite big. So if I look from the top over here, if I click on top, it'll look from the top, but that's not the right view. I want to click this little eye to show exactly down from the top. The other one is a 2-point perspective. It's you know, okay, great for artists, not great for engineers. So this one shows what it looks like from the top. Let's just right click and zoom and scoot that back down. So if I roll down from there, up from there, get in the middle. Okay, looks pretty good. Right, so we've now got it in the orientation we like. The next step is to just get it back into the screen. Is come up to here and do hollowing. Now this is a big model, so the wall thickness 2.5, yeah, 3 mils, a bit overkill. 2.7, something like that. Precision, not so sure. Hollow process animation, inner, yes. Start. And we should see this scoot all the way down, showing what the inside would look like. Okay. 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 That was quite a hollow crust, isn't it? It's a very thin crust. I will change that. I'll make that 3.5-ish. Start. Do that again. Much better. It's got a thickness, which means it has some strength as it builds. Okay. Doesn't matter too much about all these pixels inside and all the. It doesn't have to be super fine. The finer you make it, the bigger the file ends up. Okay, good, done. Now our next step is to apply vent holes. Now vent holes in a hollow part are very important, and the most important vent hole in the hollow part is the very first one, the closest to the build plate. So I like to put, because I clean the part with an ultrasonic cleaner, I can have very small holes and it'll still get cleaned inside. You need to go about 5mm if you have a snake light that you're going to use to cure internally, because you can't clean it out very well. So let's just go with a 5 to start with. Keep the hole no, dig hole continuous, 5mm deep. Yep, good. Let's try this. I think I've got it set to the screen and I want it set to the model. One of them makes it perpendicular to the model. See, that's trying to line up with the model. This one that says screen is like me looking straight down through, and that's very handy when you need to get them in different directions, but I'll show you that later, maybe. So I want it to the model and I want to pop it in there. So that's put a hole now in the very first bit. Now the problem with multi-start islands like this, so what I mean by that is, just checking his foot, that's okay. See how this other one starts over here? Let's just get that down. Well, that's a new island. If I don't put a vent hole inside there, that'll create a suction cup, and that suction cup can make that whole leg fail. So let's put another one over here. No, it doesn't like it. Clicked it, it likes it. So that one is pretty much right at the a couple of layers before it gets there, but that won't be enough to cause a fault. So I've got now in the both feet. Let's just see, where do other islands start? So at this point, see, there's two separate islands. Look, here comes another island. Do I want one in his butt cheek? Yeah, alright, I'll put one in his butt cheek. But I won't do a big one, I'll just do 1.5mm, I find, is just enough for one drop of resin to fix it, and it's also enough to stay open and get a good print. So I've now got two holes in the feet, got the butt, I'm coming on up. I just had two new islands start. There are his arms, so let's get into them at the closest start point. So there's the start. I've only got a little hole set, but if I put two in there, yeah, why not? And sorry, where's the other one? There. So couple in there, couple in there. Okay, going up, that's where they join. Deal with that later. That's okay. And the rest is connected. Is there a new island under his chin? No. Okay, so that's my vent holes that I will need. The reason there's two separate ones, separate islands need it, but they all join up in the end. Now we are going to go into supports territory, and to support this, it's a big model, it's a big piece, so we'll go over here into supports and we will massage the heavy supports. So the top of my heavy support, contact diameter, I use spheres, that's this bit over here. They are the circle that is buried inside the model, and you set the depth so that when it snaps off without breaking part of the model out the side of the wall. So I'm using 1.5 with a 0.8 snap off point. Now let's beef that up a bit. I'll go now a 2mm sphere with a 1.2 snap off point, which means that I need to get my lower diameter up. I'll go 2.5 here, right, on the diameter, and the upper diameter, contact, I got it around the wrong way. That is, this one here is how deep it's buried into the part, and I want that about 1.6, no, I'll go 1.5, Yeah, alright, 1.5. Upper diameter, I make that 1.2 like we talked about. The back of the support, 1.5. Connection length, let's make it 5. So that's how long that cone will be. When you set it to 5 like this, sometimes you struggle to get them underneath on the very first start, so we'll just see how that rolls around. These are the approximations of how many. We'll just try that first. So it's I want to go plus all. That will put supports into the internal part and the external part of the model. So if we rock around, now I've adjusted these settings down here to get all those cross members. See all the little cross members that make a structure for like a scaffold? That's from those settings, just adjusting them to make them look right. So you can see that it's auto-generated internal supports as well. So as we go down, it's auto-generated, but it's not very clever. So we have to come back and redo some things inside. It didn't do much around that foot. See, so over the top of the bridge of the foot, it needs something. That's just down in this section here. It's actually very hard for the printer to build something at almost horizontal, and that's almost horizontal right in this area here. So that we'll have to come back to that. So what I've done now is put these. There's a. Okay, so I need to beef up my down supports because I changed this to 2.5. This is still set at 2. I think I'll make them bigger. So let's go back. We'll go remove all. Yes, we'll remove all. And the upper diameter, the back of it. Yes, so now I need to change my middle. Middle support size is currently set at 2 millimeters, and I want that 2.5. Yeah, okay. Now we'll go plus all again. This should beef it up a bit. Okay, so that makes more sense now. Okay, now I don't have skates or a raft down here. I'll show you why later, but I deliberately set it with these cones at the bottom like that, so that we can put our own raft in later. Now for this model, we're going to look underneath, and by looking, so I'm just right clicking to rotate. By looking underneath, we can see what we got and where we need more. These shades of red display how it goes as it prints and what areas are most vulnerable, the darkest being the most vulnerable. So here we have our roughing out heavy supports already in place. So the model is pretty strong. I'll now switch to medium supports, and the mediums don't have a sphere, and they have, mediums don't have a sphere, and they have an upper diameter of 0.4, now 1.6, a bit heavier, lower diameter of 1.2, no, I'll make that 2 mil, lower diameter of 2 mil, and I'll give the connection length of 3. So they're just 3 millimeters long. So let's just whack one in there just to see what it looks like. I'll just go there. So the middle section needs to be beefed up. The middle diameter is not 2 millimeters yet. Okay, so let's just, I'll leave that as is. So now when I do it, better. I don't like that length at the top. Let's make that connection length, let's make that 5. I do like them long. Okay, much better. Now let's just kill those two fails. And so I just delete them. Good. Now there is an advantage here. The mediums, I don't put them everywhere. I put them fairly sparing because we're already holding it. But what I do, I watch this way that it grows by moving the mouse across. While I have it set to plus down here, I move the mouse across. So that's quite a big area for just one support to hold. So I'll whack another medium there, I'll whack another medium there, And as it joins in this area here, a bit more stability when an island joins always helps. So just in general, a few. So over here I might go there, and putting them all in a straight line is a bit weak, but putting them almost scattered in a, not random, but in a pattern that would give stability. So if I right click and roll over here, you can see that there's a stable structure starting to build inside there, and it's all around me picking where I want my stability to be. Now I'll just right click and swivel around to show you. Now a major area that can fail is where one island meets another island, and where they join each other, if you don't have a connective stability, you can get a problem. So I'm going to put one over here, and I've got those over there. Now I'm just going to see if I can get in and see that by moving these sliders up and down. I can't even see it. There we go. Moving the sliders up and down, I can get a lot of those supports out of my way, out of my vision, so they're not blocking my view of where I want to be. So I'm going to, at this point, through this area, apply some stability. Now to do that, these ones need to connect to these ones. So what I do, I go down here on the very far one, which is modify, and here is how you click and shift items. So this one is modify. I double click that, it goes green. That lets me shift and duplicate as many places as I like. So that's, and then escape to get out of that. So here it is again. I want to modify this, so I double click there, 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 there. Alright, and then I escape. Well, let's roll around, see what we got. Good, we've got good anchorage now. And so if I move down the bar, you'll see that they're all connective. So right across there, we've got stability. Okay, let's go into the arms. So we've done the legs, let's do the arms. We'll just go back to add. 1, 2, 3, along the darkest areas. They're pretty good here. 2, let's see what we got. Not bad. Not bad. How's that hole looking? Yeah, that's alright. Now let's roll into here. We've got it starts like this, goes across. I might add one there. Right. Goes across, builds, 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 builds. Picks up another one over there. I'll pop one there. Pretty stable. Okay. Let's look at the other arm. That's a bit more complex. On the other arm. So I'm just moving in and out, right clicking. On the other arm we start. Lowest point is here. I'll add one there. One there. One there. One there. So it's just making a stable something over there. There. Growing. Just watching the black line as it goes to see where. Now here's a new sort of danger area in there. I want it on the tip or I want it on the shaft. I'll put it there. I'll put one there, one there. Okay. Right, so there's my mediums. Now, here, let's do the island joins here. So we want where that joins that. So I want there, and I want there. That'll make the island join. Okay, now I go into modify and I double click, and that gives me an ability to make a tri-point, and a tri-point holds this side and the crease and that side locked into one connection. That gives stability as it joins. Capiche? Okay, let's do that over here. I'll just repeat that. This one pretty big, pretty complex. So look, it's got like a deep spot there, deep spot there. You know what, I'll put one over there too. That is complex. Okay, so we're going to just roll this around so I can see them a bit. Don't have much choice. Okay, let's just do our modifier here. So it's double click, and this wall and this wall are now connected. Escape to get back out. Can I hardly see that one? Double click. So it's this wall and this wall are connected, and then it's just needs to be on the side like that. Double click, and we've got, what are you doing? Oh, that's a bit hidden. Hang on. That wall and that wall. I'm going to have to look at this. I might have a funny angle on these. Yes, I do. Okay, I'll show you what to do there. So because supports don't like to build downwards like that, you've got to just shift the pivot point. Let's just go escape. So I'm still in modify over here. I just pick up the ball, drop it down so that they're all sloping downwards. They're still connected through this section coming through here. I can afford to go a bit up on that one. Yep, that's good. Now this one's got a thing that goes all the way down. I might just shift that to say there. And then when I pick up the ball and drop it down, now it's heading in the right direction. Let's have a look around the back there. Better shift this one. So I just clicked it once to shift, something like that, and then pick up the ball, and so I'm holding the mouse down and sliding it, and when they're all angled down like that. So now I've got an island connection through there. That is an area where you get a fault, and the fault that it causes is one side's mismatching the other, and what happens is you end up with a line running right through the chest through there because these two made a mismatch. Alright, now I can see right here that his chin is sitting out there in the middle of nowhere, so let's go plus on the medium, add a support. Now it's trying to do an ultra fine connective support. So these connection ones, you just adjust the sizes in the middle over here. So I want to up those. I'll up that size. You know, make a 0.8. I'll make it 0.8. The upper depth, lower depth. That's okay. Let's try see what that looks like. Yeah, it's a bit better. So these ones here are going to. So they're easy to knock off, but that's an island in itself. So let's just see how it starts. Oh, it's not an actual island, it's just a very sharp angle. That's okay. Yeah. And they can also be done with fan supports. That's where you go modify, double click on the area to duplicate and do that. Escape, shift the ball down. Like that. So there's your fan support instantly. You can also batch edit fan support so that the main shaft, this one, stays the same. If you click it once, hold the control down and click the other one, you can then come over here and change settings. So I can change the upper diameter to whatever I like. See, I'm just clicking that down. So on ultra fine sections, like say you've got to do the teeth of a I don't know, a wolf, you put one big one in the biggest tooth, and then you set these tiny ones all around on the other teeth. So this one gives stability, and these little ones help to get the other ones built from nothing. So what have we got there? Let's escape. So pretty much those, the thumb, the fingers, I'm just looking at these over here, they're a bit complicated. Let's put in another medium on each. One, that's one there already. Two, yeah, that's good. Now by doing that I can then go modify, double click it and shift to multiply, escape, double click, shift to multiply, escape. So modify, hang on. It doesn't want to pick up that because it's a double angled one. Not all of these can be shifted. Escape. No, that doesn't let me move. It'll let me move that though. Okay, happy with that. Something like that. And this one, I'll probably move it down first, and then double click it, and just make a few extra stabilizing points. So let's have a look at that now. Yeah, that's good. That thumb, I think that'll print fine. We've done that. Okay, now let's go into the model and look inside. First we'll zip down, look from pretty much at the top, take the top off by sliding this down. Okay, so I want, actually I'm upside down, aren't I? So I right click, shift it over, I've got it the other way around. Let's shift those two bars wrong. So what I'm looking for here is the new roof. So internally, see this red bits internally? That's like a new roof. It's the top of his foot, but looked at through the inside of his foot. Weird. Okay, in there we want to add supports. Bang, bang, bang. It won't put them where it can't build it. So just pop a few in there and let's move up. It's building almost vertical at that point, and here we have an internal on the other foot. So it'll put a slightly larger one where there's enough room for it to put it, but it'll put fine ones where it can't. So down in here it'll get the fine ones. Okay, good. Now up. This butt area where it joins, that's okay. Starting to arch over in the middle here, so we'll whack a few more. So that's the top of the thigh as seen from inside. So I'll put a few more so that it builds okay. So even though the internal is all pixelated like that, we can still roll out, roll in, and going back up. So now we're looking at the upper chest. So bang, 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 bang. These red sections, and the tonnage of the red gives you the emergency of how much it needs. So these are shadowy ones, doesn't matter. The dark red like that, yeah, put one in. So here's a connective section through the shoulder joint. Question mark? Shoulder joint? So here's the, zooming out, zooming in, here's the inside of the arm. It's got a long roof section on it, and it's almost horizontal. So we're just going along on the inside of the arm. Doesn't matter so much in there, but if it lets me, I'll put them in. These all stay in, you can't get them out. Up inside the hand, just a few inside this hand. How did that arm build? Needs a bit more in that arm. Down on the bottom there. Is it adding? I'm not sure. pretty close. The arching of the arm will help build some stability anyway. Okay, so the inside of the hand is okay, it's not a bad structure. Pretty self-sustained. Okay, so up inside the head, we are going to have the roof of the head, and that's a problem area, always. So the roof of the head, just put a big bunch in there. So it's kind of from the maybe 30 degrees around. I'll see if I can display that. Moving down. So the inside of his head is connected. Right, front section of his head is not. Let's do that. Let's add one in there. Still a plus? Yeah. Doesn't want to. Oh, go on. Okay, let's try modify. Double click this. Well, let me then. There we go. That's nice. So it didn't want to do it on its own, but it will modify an existing one. So let's do that again. Double click this one. I'll put that over there, and over there, and over there. Okay, so that's how I get it to shift. Good. Now, complicated I know, but let's build the whole model. Now let's go backwards from the top to see that areas are being supported as they jut out. So there it's supported as that shoulder comes across. Not very well supported in that section of the, just in the shoulder here. We'll go back to that. So that's why you do this. That main shoulder area is supported on both sides, but I can add more. So what we've got to do here is come back in that shoulder area. So I'll slide that up there, move that around there, and then bang some more in. So if it won't let us put plus, it won't let us put, oh, it's letting me. That's nice. Okay, so let's zoom that down a little. Now got a pretty good structure in there for when that builds. Let's have a look. See how they all connect with each other? Yep, don't need to do fan supports on there. Okay, that's good. Now, let's look for tiny areas that need. So these spheres, they're okay, they're sticking out enough that you can clean them. See these little areas here? I need a light support in there. Let's look. So over here I've clicked light supports. Let's look at what our light supports are. The upper diameter or connective point is 0.3. We'll go 0.4. 2 mil long, lower diameter 0.8. The middle one is 0.8. We'll go 1. Okay, let's whack one there. Boom. 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 Put it on top of his foot then. So we're just these little red ones, you know, these are the fine details. And butt cheek, no fine detail. Ah, there we go, back of the leg. The frill around this pants. So they're automatically being set so they don't bump into the model. So if you can fit them in like that, they'll go in. Do I worry about this bit here? Nah, don't want to mark there. Now, most of the fine features, what about his ears? They look okay. He's got a bit up in the eye there. Let's have a look. I don't think that's enough to worry about. I'll put one in there anyway. Under his nose, why not? Just for laughs. Okay, I think we got it. And zoom out here, in here to shift it. Okay, now we want to add a raft. Now to add a raft, we go back into the models and we go add. I didn't save this project yet, but let's go add the raft. And I have the raft hiding in my STL file. 3D printer, STL files, Mega Raft Dud. That's my raft. Boom. Now the raft will be out of the zone, but you click on that and that alone, and you go move centered. Centered will whack it right where it needs to be. See the raft sitting there, but at the moment the main model is sitting on the build plate and we want that to be on top of the raft. So what we do there, click the main model, not the raft, go to move and shift that up by 1.5 because that's how high the raft is. And what that does, make sure that nowhere there's a section being built into the build plate holes. So they are sitting on top of the raft, and it doesn't matter if they partially cross over a build plate hole. There's one over there that does it. See there, see this in here? Go over the build plate hole. Doesn't matter because if you look under it, it's nowhere near it. It's actually above. Okay, this is about the end of our video because the next step is to go in and save the model and then run the program. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.